Alright, so welcome to How to Dyno. If you've clicked on this video, I'm assuming you're fairly new to using Dynobot or you're just a major supporter of this channel. Either way, I'd like to welcome you to the Dynobot community, and I highly recommend you join the Dyno Discord server if you haven't already. There you can stay up to date with the latest, seek help from other members of the community, or find a cozy place to chill. The link to the Discord server will be in the description. And while you're down there, don't forget to like the video and subscribe for more tutorials. Let's get into the video. A lot of the configuration for Dynobot is done through the dashboard, but before I dive into how to configure the bot, I'd like to go over some of the features of the website. In order to navigate to the website, click on the address bar and enter dyno.gg. You'll be greeted with a similar screen. If you would like to join the Dyno Discord server, you can click on this hyperlink in order to navigate to the server. If you would like to see all of Dyno's commands, you can click on the commands hyperlink, which will take you to a page that lists all of Dyno's commands, along with what the command does. If you would like to learn more about Dynobot and how to use the bot, you can click on the help page, which will navigate you to our wiki. The wiki is full of useful information, explaining how things work and how to use them. Next, we have our status page, where you can locate your shard and cluster. Now, let's start configuring the bot. Another thing I recommend doing before starting anything is to head over to server settings, roles, find the Dyno role and make sure it's at the top of your role list. If you're not comfortable with the bot being at the top of the role list, you can have it under like your admin or moderation roles, but please at least keep it above like your member roles so it can actually mute and do all of its other functions. Another thing I do recommend is enabling the administrative permission, which you can find down here under advanced permissions. This will just make things a lot more easier, as you won't have to worry about permissions being an issue when it comes to running commands or performing them. Those are the two things I recommend you do: moving the Dyno role up above all the other roles, or at least keeping it above your main member roles, and enabling the administrator permission. Okay, so let's get into configuring our bot. In order to configure the bot though, we need to navigate to our server dashboard. In order to navigate to this dashboard, click on the Manage Service button, then select the server you'd like to manage. Here we are greeted with the main dashboard page. Something that I want to point out: if you would like to restrict all of Dyno's commands to moderators, admins, and server owners, I recommend enabling this option. But if you would like everyone in your server to be able to use Dyno's commands, like the fun commands or any of the miscellaneous commands, you can leave this unchecked. Please keep in mind that commands like ban, mute, kick cannot be used by members that aren't a moderator, admin, or server owner. Next, we have a toggle that will allow us to keep Dyno from sending messages whenever someone tries to use a disabled command. Next up, we have a field where we can actually set a custom name for Dynobot. As you can see here, I've already set my custom name to How to Dyno, but in order to set a custom name, simply just enter the name you'd like to change your bot to. So I'm just going to set it to How to Dyno. Next up, we have the command prefix, but since a lot of you guys are going to be newer users, I don't recommend messing with the prefix. I will link a video to show you what the prefix does, but other than that, I would leave that the same. Next up, we have a time zone selector, but this isn't really too important. So here we can see our actual name of the server, along with our server icon, how many members are in our server, and down here we can actually see a log of what has been changed in the dashboard. So if you have multiple server admins and they happen to change some of Dyno settings, you can actually see who made the change, what they did, and when they did it. So now I'm just going to go into some of the basic modules, since a lot of you guys are going to be new to using the spot. So in order to configure modules, you can click on this modules tab, and here we're greeted with all of Dyno's modules. And then from this screen, we're also greeted here where you can actually individually enable and disable the modules. First up, let's configure our action log. So what action log will do is actually log the specific events mentioned here to a set channel in your Discord server. So if you would like to keep logs of when a user joined, when they left, when a user was banned, you can do all of that using Dyno. Not only will it tell you like what member, it would also say who did the ban and when the ban happened. So in order to configure this, all we have to do is first of all make sure the module is enabled, and then we can select a channel. So these are the channels that are currently in my Discord server. As you can see, I already have a pre-made logs channel that I can just select here. And now all I have to do is select these events. So if I want Dyno to just go ahead and log everything, we can just enable every one of these events. And since you are logging a lot, I would recommend you mute that channel so you're not getting spammed with messages. So this is the basic setup to the action logs. If you would like a more in-depth tutorial of the action logs, I suggest clicking the card above where I go over the module. Next up, let's set up announcements. So if you don't know what announcements does, it will basically allow you to send join messages and leave messages through Dyno, as well as ban messages. So if a member gets banned, you can have Dyno send a message to a channel. With the join messages, however, you can have Dyno send them as a DM, as said here. So in order to configure this module, first enable it. Next up, we have to actually tell Dyno that we want to send join messages. And then if you want Dyno to also send leave messages, you can enable that. And if you want Dyno to send ban messages, we can enable that here as well. And then for this example, I want Dyno to send the messages as a DM so I can keep some clutter out of the server. But if you don't want to send the messages as a DM, just leave this disabled. And then just come down here and select your channel where Dyno can send these custom join messages and leave messages along with the ban messages if you have them enabled. So for this example, I have a pre-made welcome channel. So I can just select the channel here. Down here, I can enter my custom message. We have the option of sending it in plain text or through an embed. I just hit edit embed and I can enter my information here, but since this is just a basic overview, I'm just going to leave it as a message and hit update. And then I can also set a custom leave message, or I can leave it as the default. For now, I'm going to leave it as a default, and I'm going to do the same with the ban message. Once you're done, all you have to do is just wait for someone to join your Discord server, and Dyno should automatically send them a message. The next module I'd like to go over is the moderation module. So with this module, we can have Dyno send our moderation logs to a specific logs channel. So again, I have a pre-made logs channel that I have, so I'm just going to have Dyno send all the moderation logs to that channel. You can create a separate channel for Dyno to send the logs to as well. Next up, we can actually add our moderation roles from here as well, but there is also a command which I'll show you later on. So in order to add the roles, just click on the drop down and select the role you'd like to add as a moderator. We can also add protected roles, which are roles that cannot be kicked, banned, or muted. I won't go too deep into protected roles, but just know that that is an option. If you'd like to learn more about this module, I recommend checking out my video on the moderation module. Next up, I highly recommend you have Dyno DM users on kick, ban, mute. This will send users a reason for why they are muted if you include one. And I also recommend enabling remove roles when muted. This will solve a lot of the issues where it comes to members still being able to chat while they have the muted role. Next up, this is more of a personal preference, but I usually keep this delete mod commands after executed enabled just to keep the server clean. So whenever I use a command like kick, ban, or mute, Dyno will go ahead and automatically delete that trigger message and just show the response to that message. This will keep members from being able to see what reason I attached or what evidence I attached. Next up, we have preserve messages on ban. I'm not going to dive too deep into this since this is a newer option. And we have some of these other commands or some of these other toggles, which I won't really dive into. I do recommend looking at that other video if you would like to learn more. And then for those of you that would like to show off like what reason you used for banning a user or kicking them, or to where you ran the command, you can enable this respond with reason, but for this example, I'm just going to leave it disabled. It's not something I really see practiced with a lot of the bigger servers. And don't forget to enable the module. If you forget to enable the module, nothing will work, so just keep that in mind. All right, and next up we have our big module, which Dyno is most famous for, and it's Automod. So our module is enabled. We can also go ahead and set a logs channel as I have already done so here, and this will send all of Automod's logs to that log channel. I do recommend you enable automute and leave this disabled unless you know what you're doing. So in order to get this module working, I'm going to leave everything down here as default, but a little bit into what each of these fields do. So in order to set the auto mute timer, you can do it by editing the number you see here. This is in minutes. So if you would like to mute someone, if you would like Dyno to auto mute someone for 30 minutes, you leave it as is. If you would like Dyno to auto mute someone for an hour, you'd enter 60 or 60 minutes, since that translates to 1 hour, and click update. Everything else I will leave as default. Now let's get this module working. So in order to enable our banned words, click on the drop down and we can select what we want Dyno to do. We can have Dyno delete the word that was sent, as well as send that user a verbal warning. This does not count towards their actual warnings. We can also have Dyno auto mute if they hit this count down here. So if they happen to send 3 banned words, Dyno will go ahead and auto mute that user. Or we can just have Dyno instant mute that user once they send 1 banned word. For this example, I'm just going to have Dyno delete, warn, and then auto mute once they surpass this violation count. Next up, we do want protection against spam. So we're going to enable this fast message spam. We'll have Dyno delete the message. And then if they continue, we'll just have Dyno auto mute. For those of you that would like Dyno to warn, you can also select that option. These are just my custom preferences. Mass mentions. So we do not want people to mass mention on our server. So for this filter option, I'm going to have Dyno auto ban the user. So if they mention 10 different users, they will receive a ban from Dyno automatically. Next up, we have emoji spam. We're going to mimic what we have for banned words. So delete, warn, and then auto mute once they've done it 3 times. All caps, we'll just leave that disabled. It's not a big deal. Discord invites, I want Dyno to go ahead and instant mute because I don't want users sending Discord invites. We'll have Dyno instant mute and delete the invite. For link cooldown, our link cooldown is 10 seconds. So once a user sends a link, they'll have to wait 10 seconds in order to send another link. For this, I'm just going to have Dyno delete, warn, and then auto mute. Once they've hit this violations count, they will be auto muted. spoilers. So if you don't know what spoilers are, it's that little black line that you see over text, and when you click on it, it will reveal the text behind. This isn't really a big deal to me, so I'll just have Dyno maybe delete it if it's something I don't want people using in our server. And then I'll just have Dyno warn so that they actually know what's going on. Next up, we have stickers. So stickers is fairly new to Discord. It's similar to an emoji, but it's much bigger and it's animated. Stickers aren't really a problem for me, but for those that may not want stickers in their server, I'm just gonna personally have Dyno just delete the sticker and leave it at that. So every time a sticker is posted, Dyno would just automatically delete it. The user won't receive any mutes or anything like that. Next up, we have duplicated text. So this is helping out with our spam. For this, I'm gonna have Dyno delete, warn, and then auto mute. Next, we have links. So if we don't want people to be able to send any links in our server, we can have Dyno delete the link. And then if they continue to send links, I'll have Dyno auto mute them along with warn. Another spam feature, image spam. I'll have Dyno delete, warn, and auto mute once they've hit this count. Self-bot detection. So self-bot are not allowed according to Discord's TOS. So I'll have Dyno go ahead and delete if they send a message using a self-bot, and then auto ban that user. Next up, we have sticker spam. So with this spam, I'll have Dyno delete, warn, and then auto mute. So this is if they continue to spam, we want Dyno to stop them from being able to send messages. So there's our Automod. I recommend watching my Automod tutorial if you would like to further learn how to use this module. Just one quick thing, if you would like to add your own custom banned words, we do have this section over here. You can add whatever word you'd like. To clear a banned word, you can click on the X or delete the whole list entirely by hitting this delete all. Go ahead and cancel. Then we also have link blacklist and whitelist. I recommend viewing the Automod tutorial for a detailed view into both. Last but certainly not least, we have our message embedder. So we have this nice fancy bot with a nice fancy server, and now we want to make it look even nicer. So we can send embeds. If you don't know what that is, I will go ahead and post a picture on the screen. And with this, I can either have Dyno list out the rules or just have like a nice text going, or even just have Dyno just send an image using an embed. With this, I'm gonna create a quick little embed. If you would like a more in-depth tutorial, I do have a video on this as well, so I recommend checking that out. But make sure the module's enabled. We'll give the embed a name. We'll name it How to Dyno. We'll select the channel we'd like Dyno to send the embed to. For this example, I want Dyno to send it to welcome. So when we welcome all the new guests, they'll see this message. We can choose the little embed color, which is going to affect the little side here once we enter something. So for the title, I'm just going to say welcome. As you can see, we have like a little red line going here. You can enter a URL. I'm not going to do that. And then enter a description. This is where you can put your rules and whatnot. Here, I'm just going to say welcome to How to Dyno. Then we can also add an author name, author icon. I'm not going to dive into those. We can also add some images. You just enter the URL for both. You can add some footer text. You can just add How to Dyno. And then a footer icon. And then down here we have some extra fields that we can add, but once again, I'm not really going to dive into the specifics. Next, I can have Dyno just send the message. So sending it will not save it in the dashboard, or I can have Dyno save the message, which will send the message out in Discord and save it down here in the dashboard. So if you just do the send only, just keep in mind that you will not be able to come back in to edit the embed. So I'll go ahead and save and send. Now we have our embed. So those are the big modules that I wanted to cover. Hopefully you found this little half of the tutorial useful. If you did, please like the video and leave a comment saying that you learned something, and maybe even tell me what you learned. So next up, we're going to switch over to Discord and I'll go over some of the basic commands. Alright, so here we are in Discord. So if you remember correctly, these are the channels that we saw in our dropdown. We have a logs channel down here, and you can see some of the logs we have, along with our welcome channel where we posted our embed. And as you can see, the name of the bot has changed to How to Dyno. So this is just a nickname. The actual username of the bot will still remain as Dyno. And let's head over to our channel 2. So now that we're here, some of the basic commands to keep in mind are going to be some of your moderation commands. So in order to add a mod, I showed you how to do it in the dashboard. I'll show you how to do it here in the server. You have a command called add mod. Simply run that command along with the role name. So I'm going to go ahead and try this example mod. It shouldn't work since we've already done this through the dashboard, but as you can see, it didn't. That's how you would add a mod through Discord. We can see a list of our mods by running the list mod command. As you can see, our only mod roles are the example mod role. To remove a mod, simply run del mod and then mention the role you'd like to remove. If you don't have role mentions enabled, you can also just type in the name of the role. So that goes for add mod and del mod. Next up, administrators have access to a command that will actually clear up a chat. We call that command purge. So if you run purge followed by the number of messages you would like Dyno to remove, we'll put 3. So Dyno should remove this message along with this message, and leave us with this list mods message. You can run purge 3. As you can see, Dyno deleted 3 messages. In our logs channel, Dyno shows that we did a bulk delete in channel 2, 3 messages deleted, and you can see who ran the command and what command they used. So How to Dyno ran the purge command, and we deleted 3 messages. Next up, moderators plus can use a warn command, which will send a DM to a user with the reason attached. So I can do warn at user and then reason here, which will be test. And as you can see, Dyno went ahead and warned How to Dyno. Now I believe I have DMs enabled. I believe I have DMs disabled for Dyno, so you'll see a message like this if Dyno cannot DM the user. And then in order to view the warnings for a user, simply run warnings and then mention the user, or you can use their ID, any of the other mod commands. So as you can see, May 10th, 2021, we sent a warning with the reason test 2. Next up, we can kick members by running the kick command. To run this command, simply run kick at user along with a reason. Now, since I am the server owner / admin, Dyno will not be able to remove me. So for this example, I'll do test. As you can see, Dyno can't kick that user. Same thing for ban. To ban a user, run the ban command followed by the user you like to ban. Once again, you can use IDs as well. You can use user IDs, but I can go ahead and run ban at user along with a reason, or I can even ban them for a certain period of time. For this example, I'll ban them. I can try to ban myself for 1 day followed by the reason, but we all know this is not going to work because I am the server owner. Next up, I can mute users as well. So in order to mute someone, just run mute at user followed by the length. So the default length is in minutes. So if you simply enter a number like 12, you'll be muting that user for 12 minutes. For this example, I'm just going to go ahead and mute for 1 hour. And then I enter the reason here, which is optional. And this will not work because I am a mod/admin. And another thing with this ban command, for those of you guys that did not know, if you grab the user's ID, so say you encounter like a toxic user in a separate server, you can actually grab their ID, come over to your server, run this ban command and enter their ID into this field, and you can actually pre-ban that user before they even join your server. So that's a little neat trick you can do with Dyno. So those are some of the basic commands that will help you get started. Good luck.
Thanks for watching. Remember to like, share, comment, and subscribe.